Hi everybody, Dan Bailey here with another Fujifilm lens video. Today we're going to compare two of Fuji's zoom lenses, the 100-400 and the 70-300. I'm going to talk about the similarities between these two lenses, how they're different from each other, how they compare in terms of performance, and hopefully this will help you decide which one might be better for you as a photographer. Before we get started though, I just want to remind you guys about my Photography on the Brain video lesson series. This is my 30 lesson course where we dive down deeply into the realm of creativity and image making on a much more cerebral level, talk about some really cool concepts, and I give you assignments, and it's all designed to help you become a more confident, more creative photographer and artist. So if you'd like to get a special deal on my Photography on the Brain course, you can check it out right here at this link. Okay, let's get started. I have nothing but good things to say about both the 100-400 and the 70-300. I've used both of these lenses extensively, and I've shot a wide variety of subject matter with each one. They do have a lot of similarities, but they're also very different in some ways. So I'm going to run down all of the features these lenses have, show you some photos that I've shot with each one, and then compare the two in terms of performance. For a quick visual comparison, here's the 100-400 and here's the 70-300. So very different in size, but let's start with the 100-400 and run down the basic specs. So again, here's the basic view of this lens. It's not small and light by any sense of the word. It's certainly not a compact lens. Now, equating to 35mm focal length, this gives you a 152mm to 609mm zoom. It has 21 glass elements in 9 groups. It has 2 ED elements, which are extra low dispersion, and 2 super ED elements, and these help prevent for chromatic aberration, fringing, and other color inaccuracies. Sometimes different wavelengths of light, when they pass through the lens, won't converge on the same point, and so those extra low dispersion elements help correct for that kind of thing. The front element has a fluorine coating which helps to keep dust and moisture and water and even grease off the lens. So you'll find that higher end lenses will have that fluorine coating on them. It has a sliding aperture range. At wide open it's 4.5. When you zoom out it's 5.6 for maximum aperture. And the smallest aperture is f/22. The aperture mechanism itself has 9 blades, which gives you a nice round creamy out of focus look when you're shooting shallow depth of field subjects and using selective focus techniques. There's a 5-stop optical image stabilization which works exceptionally well. I've shot this lens down to like 30th of a second handheld, zoomed all the way out to 400mm. It has a twin linear autofocus motor for exceptionally fast performance. And I'm serious, this thing is one of the fastest AF lenses in the entire Fuji line, if not the fastest. This thing is a powerhouse for shooting action, sports, flying birds, anything that's moving quickly, even for things that are moving very quickly towards or away from the camera. And those are the most challenging types of action to shoot for any lens. Here's the lens zoomed all the way out to 400mm. It does have a lock switch, so you flip this and that prevents it from zooming. So if you're carrying it on the camera, it's not going to accidentally zoom out. When it's unlocked, if you're running around with the camera, you can have some lens creep and the barrel can come out a little bit. So the lock switch prevents that. It also has a focusing limit switch with 2 selections, either full or 5 meters to infinity. And so this prevents it from accidentally catching something close and zooming all the way back. And that just helps you keep focused when you're shooting distant subjects. Nothing's worse than if you're trying to focus on a flying bird or some other animal or subject way out there and it's moving and you're trying to get these shots and suddenly something catches the focus and it zooms all the way back. By the time it goes all the way out, you're probably going to lose the shot. So that's a pretty cool feature to have on the lens. And it has the optical image stabilization switch either on or off. There are some situations where it might be beneficial to leave the stabilization off, but for most shooting, I think you'll find the stabilization just helps to leave it on. It also has a decent sized lens hood, so when you pop this baby on, so there it is. It has a little slide open window here. So if you have a circular polarizer, you can reach in and adjust that manually. You don't have to reach in or take the hood off. You can access that pretty easily right there. And it comes with a removable and rotatable tripod collar. So there it is in all its glory with hood and collar ready to go. And on the body, the collar does help it stay balanced a little bit better. I think you'll find that with the grip on, with the battery grip, it stays a little bit even more balanced. So yeah, it is a big lens, and it is long, especially if you zoom all the way out. And it's not exceptionally light. The whole thing weighs 3 pounds. But I found that with the collar off, it actually does fit in some of my camera bags that I was surprised to see. I would have thought it wouldn't fit in any of them. Again, not a light lens, but it is portable. It is more portable than you might think, depending on which bag or which pack you're using. I will say that I absolutely love this lens. The 100-400 is an amazing optic. It's a pro-level lens by any sense of the word. And I've used it to shoot landscapes, I've used it to shoot wildlife and action. This is my dedicated, most often used fast action sports lens because the autofocus is lightning quick. As I said, it's incredibly fast when acquiring subjects, and it's able to track them through the frame, even if they're coming front to back, which again, that's the most challenging type of subject to shoot. But this thing stays locked on, and it does an incredible job, even when shooting video. I've shot fast mountain biking videos, again, people coming towards me, and this thing performs like a champ. This is the real deal. And of course, finally, it's weather sealed with 13 different seals at 12 locations on the body. So yeah, this thing is ready for action in all environments and all types of subjects that you can shoot, and it will get the job done. I mean, it's one of Fuji's red badge lenses, and that's their designation for the highest standard of the X series lenses, which offer the maximum level of performance capable. And finally, the price on the 100-400, $18.99. And it's compatible with Fuji's two teleconverters, the 1.4 and the 4X, which greatly expand the capabilities and performance of this lens. The 1.4X is an amazing teleconverter. It's almost an essential accessory if you have one of the zoom lenses that are capable. It really adds to the performance with almost no cost. Like you don't lose very much light, it's only one stop, which is pretty negligible considering the ISO performance of the Fuji cameras. So yeah, the 100-400 with a 1.4 teleconverter, total rock star combination. Okay, now let's talk about the 70-300. This is this little guy, way smaller and lighter. In terms of equivalent focal length to 35mm, it's 107mm to 457mm, which is pretty good for a lens of this size. It has 17 elements in 9 groups. It's weather sealed. It has 2 ED glass elements, which again help to prevent and minimize chromatic aberration, fringing, and other color clarity issues. And it has 1 aspherical element, which helps to increase maximum sharpness at the edges. Aspheric elements are really good when used in wide-angle lenses, but again, they've put one in this guy so that you can get maximum sharpness at the edges. Aperture range on this is the same as the 100-400. It's a sliding aperture, f4 to 5.6 when it's wide open, and fully stopped down is at 22. And just like the 100-400, has a 9-bladed aperture, so you get really good creamy out-of-focus subjects when you're shooting shallow depth of field and selective focus. Really good creative techniques I like to use in my photography. It has a linear autofocus motor and a 5.5 stop image stabilization, which is a little bit better than the 100-400. It's a newer lens, so newer technology is built right into that. One place this lens shines, the minimum focus distance on this lens is only 2.7 feet, and it has a 1.3 magnification ratio, so it's a really capable close-up lens, especially when you use one of the MCE X11 extension tubes or the 1.4X teleconverters. And actually, I already have the 1.4X teleconverter on here. I totally forgot. That's how minimal it is in size when it's on the lens. So yeah, this is what the 70-300 looks like without the teleconverter. And here it is with the 1.4X. So yeah, very unobtrusive. Again, a really awesome accessory for this lens. And so you can actually combine the teleconverters and the extension tubes to get even more dramatic close-ups on your photography. So this is the lens zoomed all the way out to 300mm. It does have a lock switch that helps prevent lens creep, but the nice thing about this is they've calibrated it just enough so that you don't have to undo it to zoom. So if you're walking along, the switch is locked and you're not creeping, all of a sudden you see some birds over there, oh wow, zoom right out without even hitting the switch. That's a really nice feature. It's one of those little things that helps make for a better user experience, faster, more efficient handling. Decent sized lens hood. So yeah, this thing is pretty compact. Even with the hood on, it's going to fit in most camera bags and packs. It also has the focus limit switch, same as the 100-400. You have 2 selections, either full or 5 meters to infinity, which is about 16 feet. It does not have the OIS switch because stabilization on this lens is always on. So that's the newer technology where it's much more intelligent and it's even a little bit more efficient. The 70-300 weighs 1.3 pounds and costs $7.99. And so here it is on the body. There we go. Much smaller, lighter, more convenient, more compact. Just a much more convenient size for general shooting. Much more appealing to go run outside with this thing than this. So yeah, big difference. So I'll just say right out, I absolutely love this lens. It's very similar to the 55-200. In fact, it's kind of the evolution of that lens design. The 55-200 was one of Fuji's very first long-range zoom lenses. In fact, it was their first long zoom lens. And it is a good lens, but it does have some limitations. I've used that lens a lot, I've had a lot of fun with it, shot some great images with it, and a lot of the technologies from that lens were brought into this one, the 70-300, with some notable improvements, of course. A faster autofocus, weather sealing, the better image stabilization, and the close focus capabilities, which really make this lens outstanding. So I love the 70-300. I have had so much fun with this shooting landscapes, close-ups, even sports in action. I've gone all day mountain biking with this lens and my camera pack, so it is very capable and very portable, very compact. I've shot lots of close-ups, as I said. I've done some really cool flash close-ups, but overall, this has been an exceptional performer for me in the past year or so, and I've had a ton of fun with it. I cannot recommend this lens highly enough. Okay, so that's the basic specs and the size and weight of each lens and the price. Now let's talk about which one of these might be better suited to your photography. Now both of these are incredible quality lenses, and they share some of the same features, and they're both compatible with the 1.4x and 2x teleconverters. They're both weather sealed. The 100-400 has twin linear autofocus motors, where the 70-300 only has one linear autofocus motor. So you'll find that the AF performance on the 100-400 is superior. And I've talked about that, how quick it is to acquire subjects and keep them tracked, even in challenging situations and environments and dim light. So yeah, the 100-400 cannot be beat in terms of autofocus by almost any Fuji lens. So it is a better performer. That said, I have shot action with the 70-300. It just takes a little bit more light, and it takes really good technique, but it does have a linear autofocus motor, so it is a good AF performer, just not as good as the 100-400. The 100-400 has 5 extra low dispersion elements and 1 super ED element, where the 70-300 has 2 extra low dispersion elements. Plus the 100-400 has that fluorine coating. So yeah, on paper, the 100-400 does have the edge, but in practical use, I think you'll find that both lenses do an amazing job capturing and rendering imagery with very sharp results and good quality and beautiful color clarity. I think side by side with a lot of subjects, you'd be hard pressed to tell any difference. As I said though, the 100-400 is one of Fuji's red badge lenses. As of right now, there's only a few of the X series lenses that have that designation. The 16-55, the 50-140, the 100-400, the 200 f2, and the new 150-600. So from that standpoint, you can expect that the 100-400 is an absolute top-shelf, high-performance, professional-grade lens that offers the absolute highest level of quality and performance possible in the X series. It has a more rugged design, more metal in the barrel, it has the increased autofocus performance, especially when tracking moving subjects, and it's just going to withstand the elements a little bit better. However, that does not diminish at all the incredible quality of the 70-300. In fact, there are a few areas where the 70-300 does outperform the 100-400. It has that incredible close focus capability, which allows you to capture beautiful macro shots, even without the use of any extension tubes, although as I said, both the teleconverter and the extension tubes increase the magnification ratio of that lens and allow you to create even more dramatic close-ups. The 70-300 also has that newer stabilization system built right in, so it's a little bit more efficient, a little bit better performing. Although I haven't really done a comparison between the two lenses, I'll just say that they both excel in terms of stabilization. And of course, the wonderful compact size and weight of this lens is really hard to beat when you're looking for a long telephoto to capture those distant subjects. I mean, which one would you rather carry? And that's really what it boils down to. A lens is only so good if you have it with you and are willing to carry it in your bag into the environments where you're going to go photographing. I've told you how much I love the 100-400, and I do, but I don't take it with me everywhere. It's pretty much my default go-to fast action professional lens. So if I'm going to go shoot a mountain bike race, or if there's a really cool sunset or a brilliant looking moon that I can capture, you know, it works great for that, especially with the teleconverters. But I gotta say that ever since getting the 70-300, I've shot way fewer landscapes with the 100-400 because the 70-300 does a wonderful job of shooting landscapes, and it's just so much more suitable for general photography and travel. So in my mind, it all comes down to what you like to shoot, your expectations for your photography, and what you're willing to carry with you, and of course spend. You know, it'd be great to have both these lenses, but that's going to cost, you know, well over $2,500. The 100-400 is a fantastic lens, but it's way bigger and it's over twice as expensive. If you're on a budget, or if you just don't want to carry heavy gear, the 100-400 is a little bit out of that wheelhouse. And that's where the 70-300 just shines. It fits the bill so wonderfully in so many applications. It does have fast autofocus, but it's brilliant for travel, landscapes, moonshots, sunsets, you know, even wildlife and sports. If you have good technique and enough light, it's just such an amazing all-around lens. I would highly recommend it to anybody. That said, if you want pro-level performance with your autofocus, shoot fast birds in low light, or you shoot distant wildlife that moves quickly, shoot action sports, the 100-400 is going to be the better choice for that. So I hope this has helped you a little bit with your own decision process if you're thinking about either of these two lenses. Both of these are going to give you great results, and you're going to absolutely love the images you create with either of them. So that's all for now. If you have any questions about these lenses, or any of the X-Series lenses for that matter, please leave a question in the comment section, or just let me know what you thought of this video, or experiences you've had with either the 100-400 or the 70-300. Please subscribe to my channel and check out some of my other videos. If you are a Fuji shooter, you'll definitely want to check out my best-selling ebook, X-Series Unlimited. It's a 400-page guidebook that'll show you everything you need to know in order to get the most performance and the highest amount of fun from your Fuji camera. It's basically the missing manual for the X-Series. You can find me on social media and Patreon at Dan Bailey Photo, and you can visit my website and blog as well. And if you want to listen to my music, you can find me on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon, any of the other streaming channels. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. Have fun with your cameras out there, and I'll see you next time.